Welcome back to The Elderly Health Physician, the show where we bring you the wisdom of Korean medicine combined with the best of modern science to help you thrive after 60. I am your host, John, and today we have an episode that I believe every single person watching needs to hear. Because today, we are going to pull back the curtain on 4 foods that most people believe are protecting their heart. Foods that are sitting in your pantry right now, foods that your doctor may have even recommended. Foods that carry labels like wholesome, natural, and heart-friendly. And yet, according to the latest research, these very foods may be quietly clogging your arteries and driving up inflammation inside your body, especially after the age of 60. Joining me once again is Korea's oldest practicing physician, Dr. Henry Lee. He has spent over 40 years treating seniors and studying the ancient principles of Korean medicine that have kept generations living strong. Today, he is going to walk us through each one of these foods, explain what they are doing inside your body at the cellular level, and most importantly, he is going to show you 3 simple exercises that can help reverse some of the damage and bring your inflammation levels back down. Doctor, welcome back.
Thank you, John. And I want to say something right from the beginning. What makes this topic so dangerous is not that people are eating junk food and getting sick. That is obvious. What is truly dangerous is when someone believes they are making the right choice, when they believe they are protecting their heart, but the food they are eating is doing the exact opposite. That is the silent problem. I have seen it in my clinic for decades. A patient walks in with elevated inflammatory markers, with early signs of arterial plaque, and when I ask them about their diet, they say, "Doctor, I eat healthy. I have granola for breakfast. I drink juice instead of soda. I cook with vegetable oil because my cardiologist told me to avoid butter." And every single one of those choices, as we are going to see today, may be making things worse. So let us begin with the first food, and I think this one is going to shock a lot of people. The first food is store-bought granola. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. Granola is made of oats. Oats are healthy. Oats lower cholesterol. How can granola possibly be bad for my heart? And you are right that plain oats, whole rolled oats, are one of the best things you can eat for cardiovascular health. The problem is that what you find in a bag of store-bought granola has very little to do with plain oats. Most commercial granola products are held together with a combination of added sugars and palm oil or other saturated fats. A single serving, which is usually about 1/3 of a cup, and let me be honest, nobody eats just 1/3 of a cup. A single serving can contain 12 to 16 grams of added sugar. That is more than 3 teaspoons of sugar before you even add milk. And what does sugar do to your arteries? A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology followed over 200,000 adults for more than 2 decades. The researchers found that diets high in pro-inflammatory foods, including those with concentrated added sugars, were directly associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. The mechanism is straightforward. When you consume a large amount of sugar in one sitting, your blood glucose spikes rapidly. This triggers an insulin surge, which in turn activates a cascade of inflammatory cytokines. These are proteins that tell your immune system to attack. And when this happens day after day, morning after morning, the lining of your arteries becomes inflamed. Plaque begins to form, and your risk of a cardiac event goes up. I had a patient once, a 71-year-old retired schoolteacher named Margaret. She came to me complaining of fatigue and occasional chest tightness. Her cholesterol was borderline. Her blood pressure was slightly elevated. When I reviewed her diet, she was having a large bowl of granola with low-fat milk every single morning. She believed it was the healthiest breakfast she could possibly eat. We switched her to plain rolled oats with fresh blueberries and a small handful of raw walnuts. No added sugar, no palm oil. Within 3 months, her inflammatory markers dropped by nearly 30%. Her energy came back. She told me, "Doctor, I had no idea my healthy breakfast was hurting me." And that is exactly the problem. The alternative is simple. Buy plain rolled oats or steel-cut oats. Cook them yourself. Add fresh fruit for sweetness. Add raw nuts for healthy fats. You get the fiber, you get the beta-glucan that actually lowers cholesterol, and you eliminate the hidden sugars and inflammatory oils.
You know, doctor, conversations like this one make me think about something I came across a while back. It is called the Senior Body Reset After 60. I have to be honest, when I first found it, I was not expecting much, but it completely changed how I think about aging. It covers exactly what we talk about on this show: how to reset your body's natural rhythms after 60. Better sleep, stronger circulation, sharper memory, more energy throughout the day. And it does all of that through daily habits, not medications. No complicated routines. Just clear, practical steps backed by the same kind of medical thinking we explore in every episode. If you are someone who wants to take what you hear here and actually put it into action, this is a resource worth looking into. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. Now, doctor, please continue.
The second food is flavored yogurt. And I know this one is going to be difficult for many people to hear because yogurt has been marketed for decades as the ultimate heart-healthy food. Probiotics, calcium, protein, all wonderful things. But here's the truth that the packaging does not tell you. Most flavored yogurts sold in grocery stores contain between 20 and 25 grams of added sugar per serving. That is roughly the same amount of sugar you would find in a small candy bar. And some of those sugars come in forms like high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, or agave nectar, all of which trigger the same inflammatory response inside your blood vessels. A study published in the British Medical Journal analyzed the sugar content of over 900 commercial yogurt products. The researchers found that the vast majority of flavored yogurts, including those marketed specifically to health-conscious consumers, contained sugar levels far exceeding what most dietary guidelines recommend. For someone over 60, this is especially dangerous because your body processes sugar more slowly. Insulin sensitivity decreases with age, meaning the same amount of sugar that a 30-year-old might tolerate without issue can cause prolonged glucose elevation in someone over 60. And prolonged glucose elevation is one of the primary drivers of arterial inflammation. I had a patient named George, 74 years old, a retired postal worker. He ate 2 cups of strawberry-flavored yogurt every single day because his previous doctor told him yogurt was good for his gut and his heart. When we tested his C-reactive protein, which is a key marker of systemic inflammation, it was significantly elevated. We replaced the flavored yogurt with plain, full-fat Greek yogurt. He added his own fresh berries and a small drizzle of raw honey. 6 weeks later, his C-reactive protein had dropped to a normal range. The yogurt itself was never the enemy. The sugar hiding inside it was. Now let us move to the third food, and this one has been the most controversial in medicine for the past 50 years. The third food is vegetable oil. Specifically, I am talking about canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, and sunflower oil. These oils have been recommended by mainstream cardiology for decades because they are low in saturated fat. And it is true, they are lower in saturated fat than butter or coconut oil. But what nobody told you is that these oils are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. And omega-6, when consumed in excess, drives inflammation throughout your entire body. Let me explain. Your body needs both omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. They work together, but they need to exist in a certain balance. Ideally, the ratio should be around 1:1, or at most 1:4. The problem is that the modern Western diet, largely because of these so-called heart-healthy vegetable oils, has pushed that ratio to 1:15, or even 1:20 in some people. When omega-6 dominates, it gets converted into arachidonic acid, which produces pro-inflammatory compounds called prostaglandins and leukotrienes. These compounds directly damage the endothelial lining of your arteries. They make the walls sticky, they attract LDL cholesterol, and plaque begins to accumulate. A study published in the journal Circulation reviewed dietary fat intake across large populations and found that replacing saturated fat with omega-6 dominant vegetable oils did not consistently reduce cardiovascular mortality. In some cases, it actually increased oxidized LDL, which is the most dangerous form of cholesterol. I treated a 68-year-old retired mechanic named Walter. He had been cooking exclusively with canola oil for over 15 years on the advice of his cardiologist. When we tested his blood, his ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 was 18:1. His arteries showed early signs of calcification. We switched him to extra virgin olive oil for cold preparation and avocado oil for cooking at higher temperatures. Both of these oils have a much more favorable fatty acid profile. Within 4 months, his ratio improved dramatically, and his inflammatory markers began to normalize. The fourth food is one that many people switch to specifically because they think they are protecting their heart. The fourth food is diet beverages made with artificial sweeteners. When people hear that sugar causes inflammation and arterial damage, the logical step seems obvious. Switch to a sugar-free version. Diet soda, sugar-free iced tea, 0-calorie flavored water. The packaging says 0 sugar, 0 calories. So it must be safe. But what the research is now telling us is far more complicated. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association followed nearly 80,000 postmenopausal women for over a decade. The women who consumed 2 or more artificially sweetened beverages per day had a significantly higher risk of stroke, coronary heart disease, and overall cardiovascular mortality compared to women who rarely consumed them. The mechanism appears to involve the gut microbiome. Artificial sweeteners, particularly aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin, alter the composition of beneficial gut bacteria. This disruption triggers a systemic inflammatory response that increases intestinal permeability, sometimes called leaky gut. When the gut barrier is compromised, bacterial byproducts enter the bloodstream and provoke an immune response that directly damages arterial walls. I had a patient named Dorothy, 70 years old, a retired librarian. She was extremely disciplined about avoiding sugar. She drank 4 to 5 cans of Diet Cola every single day. When I tested her inflammatory markers, they were elevated well beyond what I expected for her otherwise clean diet. We eliminated the diet beverages entirely. She replaced them with plain water, sparkling water with a squeeze of fresh lemon, and 2 cups of green tea daily. Within 8 weeks, her C-reactive protein dropped by nearly 40%. She could not believe that her 0-calorie drink had been doing more damage than the sugar she had worked so hard to avoid. Now, John, I promised we would talk about what people can do beyond just changing their food. Because diet is only one side of the equation. The other side is movement. And I want to share 3 simple exercises that anyone over 60 can do at home to help reduce inflammation and improve the flexibility of their arteries. The first exercise is calf raises. This is perhaps the most underrated exercise for cardiovascular health in seniors. Here's how to do it. Stand behind a sturdy chair and hold the backrest with both hands for balance. Slowly rise up onto the balls of your feet as high as you can. Hold that position for 2 to 3 seconds, then slowly lower back down. Do this 10 to 15 times. Rest for 30 seconds. Then repeat for a total of 3 sets. What makes this exercise so powerful is that your calf muscles act as a secondary heart. When you contract and release them, they squeeze the veins in your lower legs and push blood back up toward your heart. This improves venous return, reduces blood pooling, and has been shown to lower peripheral arterial stiffness over time. A study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that regular calf muscle activation significantly improved vascular function in older adults after just 8 weeks of consistent practice. The second exercise is diaphragmatic breathing, sometimes called belly breathing. And this is something rooted deeply in Korean medicine. Sit comfortably in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. As you inhale, your belly should rise while your chest stays relatively still. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Your belly should fall inward. Repeat this cycle for 5 minutes. What happens during diaphragmatic breathing is remarkable. Your vagus nerve, which runs from your brainstem all the way down to your abdomen, becomes activated. This triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which lowers your heart rate, reduces blood pressure, and most importantly, decreases cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone that, when chronically elevated, drives systemic inflammation. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Physiology demonstrated that consistent diaphragmatic breathing reduced inflammatory cytokines including interleukin-6 in older adults within just 12 weeks of daily practice. The third exercise is a gentle full-body stretch that specifically targets arterial flexibility. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Raise both arms overhead and interlace your fingers. Gently lean to the right side, feeling a stretch along your entire left side from your hip to your fingertips. Hold for 15 seconds. Then slowly lean to the left side and hold for 15 seconds. Return to center. Now, keeping your arms up, gently twist your torso to the right. Hold for 10 seconds. Then twist to the left and hold for 10 seconds. Lower your arms and gently bend forward at the waist, reaching toward your toes. Do not force it. Go only as far as is comfortable. Hold for 15 seconds, then slowly roll back up. A meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health analyzed 8 randomized controlled trials and found that stretching exercises significantly reduced arterial stiffness and improved vascular endothelial function in middle-aged and older adults. The researchers also found that consistent stretching reduced resting heart rate and diastolic blood pressure. The reason this works is that your arteries are surrounded by connective tissue and fascia. When you stretch, you are not just stretching your muscles. You are gently pulling on the connective tissue that wraps around your blood vessels, which improves their elasticity and their ability to expand and contract with each heartbeat. Do these 3 exercises once per day. It takes less than 15 minutes. And combined with the dietary changes we have discussed today, you will be giving your cardiovascular system a genuine opportunity to repair and rebuild.
That brings everything full circle. 4 foods that millions of people believe are protecting their heart. Granola with its hidden sugars and inflammatory oils. Flavored yogurt with more sugar than a candy bar. Vegetable oils that flood your body with inflammatory omega-6. And diet beverages that disrupt your gut and trigger immune responses in your arteries. And 3 exercises that take less than 15 minutes. Calf raises to pump blood back to your heart. Diaphragmatic breathing to calm inflammation from the inside out. And gentle stretching to restore the flexibility of your arteries themselves. None of this requires medication. None of it requires expensive equipment. It just requires awareness and the willingness to make small, consistent changes. If you found value in this episode, share it with someone you love who is over 60. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode with Dr. Henry Lee. And leave us a comment below, telling us which of these 4 foods surprised you the most. We read every single one. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next episode. Small changes, lasting results. Let us grow old strong together.